trees. Yesterday's echoes haunt my soul, fragments of love that took a toll. Soft shadows dance upon my wall, traces of laughter that I recall. The silence now feels loud and clear, a distant memory that brings me near. Yesterday's echoes make me cry, soft reminders of our last goodbye. In the quiet, I hear your name, a forgotten song still burns its flame. Through the window, I see your face in every little empty space. Moments lost, but never gone, in the echoes of the dawn. Yesterday's echoes feel like a test, memories wrapped in sorrow's shroud, pieces of you I can't disavow. Yesterday's echoes make me cry, soft reminders of our last goodbye. In the quiet, I hear your name, a forgotten song still burns its flame. Yesterday's shadows danced on the wall, pictures and moments I can still recall, faces of laughter, whispers of joy. Yesterday's echoes, they never destroy. We sat by the river, sun sinking low. Time seemed to vanish, it felt so slow. Hand in hand together, hearts so light. Yesterday's memories still hold me tight. Oh, yesterday, how you haunt my mind, in the corners where the light can't find, pieces of love and fragments of tears. In yesterday's arms I have no fears. The leaves, they rustle, a silent song, reminding me of days that are long gone, footprints left in the sands of time. Yesterday's whispers in every rhyme. Candles flicker on an empty Walking through the twilight mist, whispers of the past persist, echoes of a loved one's clear, fading like a distant cheer. Days of laughter, nights so bright, dancing neath the silver light, holding hands beneath the trees, softly swaying with the breeze. Memories of yesterday haunt my dreams, they never stray. Linger still the taste of you, moments frozen in the dew. Letters tucked in old shoebox, time has loosened all the locks. Photographs and worn out clothes, secrets only you'd suppose. Counting stars on velvet skies, glimmers in your soulful eyes. Promises we swore we'd keep, now they're sinking out of reach. Memories of yesterday haunt my dreams, they never stray. Linger still the taste of you, moments frozen in the dew. Letters tucked in old shoebox, time has loosened all the locks. Photographs and worn out clothes, secrets only you'd suppose. Lemons frozen in the dew. Faded smiles and sepia hues, whispers in the silent blues, eyes that glimmer with the past, stories that are built to last. Olden days in black and white, softened light.